Kate gives a curt nod, then turns and exits the apartment. The click of the lock echoes, the sudden weight settling on to Kira's shoulders. The scent of burnt toast lingers, a stark contrast to the metallic tang of fear coating Kira's tongue.
Well, that's just great. Now I'm going to be thinking about burnt toast all day.
I'll make some fresh coffee. Anyone want some?
This is crazy, Steve. She's bait. What if something goes wrong?
Later that day, sunlight streams through the window of Tina and Kira's room. Illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. Sheet music rests on the small table beside Kira's bed.
Burton Cummings? Seriously? Are you trying to lull the terrorists asleep?
Hey, it's a classic. Besides, it was the only song Kate could get him to agree on. She said it reminded him of his grandma or something.
Just promise me you won't wear sequins. It'll blind Steve through those fancy glasses.
Very funny. Look who's talking, Miss. Glitter Bomb herself. Besides, I actually have a decent voice, you know. Unlike some people.
Across town, Steve paces in his temporary office, the small earpiece nestled in his palm.
Are you sure about this, Steve? This whole thing feels off.
Look, Jeremy, I appreciate your concern, I really do. But I'm calling the shots on this one. I don't want you second-guessing every move.
Understood, sir.
Lola enters the room, a cup of coffee in hand. She observes the tense exchange with a thoughtful gaze. The unspoken tension hangs in the air, thick and heavy.
You handled that well, Steve. He needs to know who's in charge.
Thanks, Lola. Now, about this plan. Thanks, Lola. Now, about this plan.
Steve gestures towards a whiteboard covered in scribbled notes and arrows. A map of the city, marked with potential radical hideouts, takes center stage.
Kira's going to need more than sequins to pull this off. She needs to be convincing, almost. Reckless. Like she doesn't care if she gets caught.
And that's what worries me. We need her to be safe.
Back at Lola's apartment, Tina adjusts Kira's microphone, fiddling with the settings. Kira sighs, tapping her foot impatiently.
This thing's never going to work. The song's too high, Dina. I can't hit those notes. It sounds like a strangled cat.
Relax, drama queen. I'll lower the key. You sound fine. Honestly.
This is ridiculous. It's either Alvin and the Chipmunks or Barry White.
What seems to be the problem, girls? Let's take a 5-minute break. Tea, anyone?
It's this stupid song. I'm a soprano, Lola, not a bass. I usually sing stuff like the Carpenters, not whatever this is.
I'll call Kate. She'll find it in your key. Don't worry, Kira. We'll sort this out.
You're the best, Steve.
Kara, relieved and energized, dances her way outside, humming a tune. Steve watches her go, a small smile playing on his lips.
She never ceases to amaze me, Lola. That girl's got spirit.
She'd be a star, you know, if it weren't for the anxiety holding her back. She's incredibly talented.
Anxiety? I haven't seen any ounce of anxiety in her. She seems pretty fearless to me, especially with how she gives me a hard time.
Kira's the only girl in her family, Steve. She grew up thinking emotions are a weakness. That's why she doesn't like normal people. She says they act primitive.
Emotions are far from weakness. What does she mean by primitive?
She says it's because in high school, she compared the behavior of people without disabilities to those with disabilities. Regular kids roughhousing in the hallways, girls throwing up after lunch. She concluded that no special needs person does those things, so normal people are the strange ones. She says it's because in high school, she compared the behavior of people without disabilities to those with disabilities. Regular kids roughhousing in the hallways, girls throwing up after lunch. She concluded that no special needs person does those things, so normal people are the strange ones.
Lola's words hung in the air. The clinking of dishes suddenly amplified in the quiet. Steve stared into his coffee, a thoughtful frown etched on his face.
Huh. I never thought of it that way.
Hours later, the common room of the group home buzzed with quiet activity. Tina sprawled on the sofa, flipping through a magazine. Jeremy paced near the window, occasionally glancing at his watch. Kira sat hunched over a guitar, frustration radiating from her in waves.
This stupid chord progression. It's like trying to hurt tats.
More like trying to teach Steve diplomacy. Impossible.
Hey, Kara. Cha-cha working on?
A new song. But it's being resistant.
Sounds pretty good to me. So, Lola was telling me a bit about you earlier. About your family. Big family?
3 boy cousins to older brothers. The usual chaos. Word German, Dutch, Irish, English. Unfortunately, French.
Same ratio here, except swap the Irish for Italian. Ever have those pancakes with them neat bits in them? My grandma used to make them.
As Freck Candy Jen, every New Year's. Supposed to be good luck, but I still haven't won the lottery. And I hate farmer sausage. Or mint and chocolate together. It's just wrong.
Can't argue with that. Everyone's different, right? Though I don't mind the pancakes.
Kara, about the plan. We should probably go over the details again. Soon?
Right? Later. Jeremy, I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
Good night, sleep well. Good night, Kira. Sleep well.
The aroma of frying bacon fills the air the next morning, a stark contrast to the tension of the night before.
Morning, sunshine. Coffee's brewing.
Seriously? It's barely dawn. And since when did Captain America become Betty Crocker?
I have a bad feeling.
The tension hangs heavy in the air, unspoken yet palpable.
Bravo, encore. That was lovely, Kira. Now, chop chop. Let's get that bag packed. Just the essentials.
Still think this is a bad idea. Using a civilian?
Sushi before spy games? My treat.
Sounds good. Fuel up for the mission.
A forced normalcy settles over the group, a thin veil over the underlying anxiety.
Just to be clear, Kira will be back in a few days, right?
In on gout. Just needs to use her classes as a cover to gather some intel. Snapshots of the blueprints. Nothing more.
And if things go south? And if things go south?
Then, we'll deal with it. We have protocols. Backups.
Sweetheart, are you sure about this? There's still time to reconsider.
I'm sure. Someone has to do it.
The air crackles with unspoken anxieties. The weight of their decision hangs heavy in the room.
Right then. Sushi time, my treat. Best spicy tuna rolls in town. And don't worry, Kira. I'll pack you some extra sabi for. You know, extra protection.
At the sushi restaurant, the fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting a sterile glow on the brightly colored decor. Tina's forced cheerfulness does little to dispel the underlying tension.
So, Jeremy, heard you've been practicing your ninja moves. Ready to take on any rogue California roles?
Not hungry.
This place charges for everything you don't eat, you know.
Right? Wouldn't want to waste good. Seaweed?
This is Kira's big moment, Jeremy. As big as taking down the... well, you know.
They're bad people. I'm happy to help Kira.
I'll need sleeping pills. I have trouble sleeping in strange places.
Kara, are you even the slightest bit nervous?
Not nervous. Just, when I hit the stage when I start singing, I enter another world.
You get high when you sing?
I do. And I can't wait for tonight. I do. I can't wait for tonight.
Back at Lola's apartment, the air crackles with a mix of nervous energy and forced calm. The remnants of takeout containers litter the coffee table.
Do you think they'll recognize me?
Honey, with that voice, they'll be begging for an autograph. Or maybe a restraining order.
This isn't funny, Tina.
Signals clear. Crystal. Like a Canadian lake. Or a Tim Hortons ice cap.
Lola said we're volatile, Steve. You think this van is going to be the next big Fight Club setting?
Nah, we'll be fine. Besides, there's a 24-hour Tim Hortons just down the street from the Rusty Mick. Emergency coffee runs, you know.
Coffee. The one drug that's perfectly legal, but should be right up there with alcohol.
Why is that, Tina?
Because it makes you do impulsive things. Like that time I stapled my finger while drinking French vanilla. Or the overwhelming urge to jump into traffic after one too many double-doubles.
That's rich, Tina. Pure gold.
Lola enters from her bedroom, her expression laced with concern. She adjusts her cardigan. A nervous habit.
Are you sure about this, Kira? It's not too late to back out.
I'm sure. This has to stop.
A tense silence hangs in the air, broken only by the hum of the refrigerator. The weight of their mission settles heavily in the room. Outside, the city lights begin to twinkle, the stark contrast to the darkness gathering within the apartment.
Time to go.
The Rusty Mick, a dimly lit dive bar on the outskirts of the city, pulsates with a low, rhythmic thrum. The air is thick with the smell of stale beer and desperation.
All right, Tira, remember the plan.
I remember. I remember. I remember.
Kira exits the van, the biting night air a stark contrast to the warmth of Lola's apartment. The Rusty Mick, a dive bar bathed in neon light and shrouded in cigarette smoke, looms before her. Inside, the air is thick with the smell of stale beer and desperation. The low hum of conversation blends with the rhythmic pulse of the music. Kara approaches the bar, her heart pounding against her ribs.
Ginger ale, please.
The bartender, a burly man with a handlebar mustache, grunts and fills a glass. Kira takes it, the condensation cold against her skin. She places the bag containing her clothes and the sleeping pills under the table, her movements carefully casual.
Hi, my name is Lily. I'd like to sing. I'll sing you a Rhapsody.
The DJ nods, scribbling her name onto a slip of paper. Kara turns to her table, pulling out her earpiece.
Rhapsody. It's a weird word, isn't it? Sounds like raspberry.
Static crackles in her ear, followed by Steve's chuckle. Inside the surveillance van parked across the street, Steve monitors Kira's progress, a mixture of amusement and concern flickering across his face. Jeremy sits beside him, tense and watchful.
Stay focused, Kira. This isn't a comedy show.
This whole thing is insane, Steve. She's a civilian, not a trained operative.
Back, and a Rusty Mick. Kara's name is called. She takes a deep breath. The intro music to Bohemian Rhapsody filling the bar. The spotlight hits her, and she begins to sing, her voice surprisingly strong and clear. As the last notes fade, a man approaches her table, his eyes gleaming with an unsettling intensity.
Lily, you are perfect. Just perfect. You have a voice that could stir a nation.
You must be Paul Grant, the one who's going to save Canada from the Americans.